Ah oui, monsieur.
Today's plan is to leave Tbilisi and push deep into the heart of Svaneti, towards Mestia.
There is a place I'd like to go in the spring and the fall and in the snow. There's lots of friendly people there and you don't have to bother to cut your hair. The Smoky Mountains is the place to put a big smile on the face.
The Georgian roads have a very specific bucolic charm. 1 minute you're cruising and the next you're navigating around a group of wild horses standing in the middle of a lane, or a slow-moving herd of cows that clearly owns the right of way. It kind of forces you to slow down and appreciate the landscape.
I think that heaven must be near, 'cause the angels' voices you can hear.
As the hours passed, the landscape began to transform. The rolling hills of the lowlands sharpened into steep inclines, and before I knew it, those hills had turned into massive snow-capped mountains. On one of the winding climbs, I spotted a local honey seller. These roadside stalls are everywhere in the mountains, and I couldn't resist, so I stopped to grab a bottle of fresh, light mountain honey. An hour after, I pulled over for a quick break, but I wasn't along for long.
Oui, le chien. Bah oui, toi t'es un bon chien. Bah oui.
Okay, so I'm trying to set the camera, but the dog is not gonna let me.
I took a moment to sit with him and actually look at where I was. I was squeezed between two massive hills surrounded by a vertical wall of autumn colors. Then I decided to get the drone up to capture the scale of it. But then something happened. As I called it back to land, the drone clipped a branch and went down somewhere high up on the slope. What was supposed to be a 15-minute rest turned into a brutal 90-minute rescue mission to get my drone. The sun was already dipping behind the peaks and the terrain was a nightmare. Finally, just as the last of the light faded into dusk, I spotted it. And I managed to scrabble back down to the bike, exhausted but relieved. I had the drone back, but I still had a long dark ride ahead of me.
Petit. Ah oui. Ah oui. Oh là 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 là.
Entering Mestia feels like riding into a different century. You're about 1500 meters surrounded by some of the highest peaks in the Caucasus, including the jagged twin peaks of Mount Ushba. But the first thing you notice isn't the mountains, it's the towers. They are the famous Svan Towers, or Koshki. They date back to the Middle Ages, mostly between the 9th century and the 12th century. They weren't built by the government or the military, they were actually built by individual families. The towers are usually 20 to 25 meters high, with 4 to 5 levels. The ground floor has no window and was used for storage and animals. The living quarters were higher up for defense. The top floor usually had a gallery, with mashikuli, holes in the floor where defenders could drop stones or sand on anyone trying to break in. The entire Upper Svaneti region is actually a World Heritage Site because it has preserved an incredibly medieval-type landscape that exists nowhere else. Svaneti was so remote and so rugged that for centuries it was never fully conquered. However, that isolations meant the clans often fought each other. These towers were personal fortresses. If there was an invasion or a blood feud between families, the entire household, including the livestock, would retreat into a tower, pull out the wooden ladders, and wait it out.
I cannot see.
Before settling in, I had to try the local specialty, Koupdari. It's a thick dough stuffed with spiced beef and local herbs, and sometimes layered with cheese. It's basically a rugged mountain version of a pizza, and it's pretty good.
Ah oui, le chien. Oui. Bah oui, le chien. Bah oui.
It is charcuterie.
Okay.
And this one is, I can't remember the name, but this
Okay.
one is
I guess
Toma.
it's Toma.
Yes, Toma.
This one is Chakhabili.
Shahabili. Oh, you do good.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been training in Ukraine for that.
Yeah.
I've been prepping.
Amazing. Look at the cute.
After a bit of surgery on the drone, it was finally back in the air and I was ready to leave the towers of Mestia behind.
There's a road I'd like to tell you about. Lives in my hometown. Lakeshore Drive, the road is called, and it'll take you up or down. From rats on up to riches, 15 minutes you can fly. Pretty blue lights along the way, cut you right on by. And the blue lights shining with a heavenly grace, cut you right on by. Like it anywhere I find.
As evening approached, I found a spot that looked like a dream, right on the edge of a massive cliff. I set up a camp, thinking I'd scored the best seat for the sunrise. But as the sun disappeared, so did my luck. I'd made a total rookie mistake. I'd sacrificed a good night's sleep for a view that I couldn't actually see in the dark. And because I was perched right on the lip of the cliff, there was nothing to break the wind. My tent wasn't just fluttering, it was being literally attacked from every direction. I wrapped up what had basically become my daily ritual, a hearty stew of whatever was left in the bag.